being, I know you're in there to see me through all that I do, to love me and to care. Inner being, how can I allow source energy to flow through me? I want to feel good now.
It's about tuning. You can be as patient as you have time to be, but if you've got your tuner set on the wrong station, you're not going to hear what's being broadcast on the station that you want to hear from. And so it's not about patience, it's about tuning. The thing about resistance is, you see, beliefs are active vibrations within you. So as you witness something, and there's an active vibration within you as you watch it. As you talk about it later, there's an active vibration. As you remember it from the past or imagine it in the future, there's an active vibration. And so an active vibration about something that you don't want will hinder the signal about something that you do want. So that's just not good tuning. So the obvious thing is just shut that channel down. In other words, just stop. You got to deactivate those things that are in the way. But the thing that makes that a little tricky is that while you're thinking about what you're not going to think about, you're thinking about it. So when you say, I'm not going to think about that anymore, you're thinking about that right now. And every time you say, I'm not going to think about it, you think about it more until it becomes a stronger and stronger and stronger hindrance to what you do want.
Lift up off of it, give it up and be done with it. Deactivate thoughts that get in the way, send them back to yesterday. Deactivate. I can be happy, I can be sad, the choice is up to me. I can feel good, I can feel bad, I can choose bondage or I can be free. As I lift up off of it, give it up and be done with it, and reactivate. Thoughts that feel good to me can be real or fantasy. Reactivate.
So the only way that we know of to deactivate something unwanted is to focus upon something wanted. But law of attraction gets in your way with that, because law of attraction is so busy responding to the vibration that you've already got active that it makes it almost impossible in some cases to think about the other end of that stick, because this is so dominant. So you can't not think about it, because law of attraction just keeps dishing up more, showing you more in your now, both of wanted and unwanted, by the way, showing you more in your now, helping you remember things from the past, gathering it from far and wide, anything that's active within you. Law of attraction saying, here's some more, here's some more, here's some more, here's some more. So the way we would encourage you to deactivate something is by quieting your mind altogether. It helps when you sleep. But the thing about sleeping is when you wake up, you usually pick up where you left off. Even though the momentum subsided, the potential for that active belief is still really great. And so when you awaken, you could wake up and immediately focus on other things. And if you could do that, you could in time dominate your vibration with more wanted things. That's doable.
Thoughts that feel good to me can be real or fantasy. Reactivate, 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 reactivate.
And by meditating, we mean focusing on something that's not really an active thought. Your body will feel different as your mind sort of winds down, and you don't give your mind an opportunity to pick up on those vibrations that it normally would. And as you quiet your mind, a really interesting thing happens. Your tuner rises to the frequency of your inner being. It's like the cork, when you hold it under the water, isn't floating, but when you let go, it does. So it's like letting go of that cork, and your vibration begins to rise, which now puts you in sync. You know how a moment ago we were talking about how there is the point of attraction of your inner being, your inner mind, your soul source, and then there's a point of attraction of whatever you've got going on with your habits of thought.
Keep your cork afloat, nothing's what it seems. Merrily, happily, joyfully, thankfully, life is but a dream. Keep your cork afloat, nothing's what it seems. Merrily, happily, joyfully, thankfully, life is but a dream. 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 Life is but a dream.
Well, when you quiet your own habits of thought, then your inner mind becomes dominant. So now you're right there with your inner being, and your inner being is wise enough not to begin introducing thoughts to you that are going to take you back over here. Your inner being will speak very generally to you at first, because there's no point in talking about that issue that you've got going on, because as soon as your inner being brings it up, you're going to go right back to that lower vibration, because your habit of thought is so practiced there. So it will be more general. It will be more like a feeling of well-being. Sometimes you describe it as floating or euphoric or peaceful or satisfaction or contentment. It's just this subtle sense of well-being. Sometimes you'll have the sensation that you sort of want to move with some sort of rhythm that's coming from somewhere. It's just this place of quiet allowing of yourself to resonate and be bathed by and touched by and integrated with this high frequency of who you really are.
Inner being, help me to align with the part of me I meant to be before this space and time.
But what you'll notice after a few days of that soft allowing of your vibration to rise, you'll begin to receive subtle thoughts, because now you're in the receiving mode. Your mind is not active anymore, so you're not going to be thinking of things. You'll begin to receive these subtle thoughts of your inner being. And the reason we say subtle thoughts is because your inner being is wise enough to know what your path of resistance is. Well, your inner being knows when the time is for you. Your inner being knows when you're agitated about something or when you're open to something. Your inner being knows what your beliefs are about everything that matters to you. Your inner being knows what things you want and what things you really don't believe, and what things you want and what things you're not quite so much in the way of. So your inner being will offer you impulses of thought. And when you receive the thought, you'll think you're thinking it, but you're not thinking it. And you know how you'll notice the difference between whether you're thinking the thought or whether you're receiving the thought from your inner being? When you receive the thought from your inner being, it always feels good. It feels like a good idea. It feels like something that you want to do. It's resistance free. And Esther, at first, when she began receiving these thoughts, she would think, that doesn't seem like a very important thought. It seems like Source would be thinking about more important things. But then she realized that Source is just offering her the thought of least resistance, the thought that she could receive, that she wouldn't immediately begin contradicting with beliefs that are in the way. And so after a while, once you meditate for 15 or 20 minutes every morning so that you've sort of set the tone of that, then what you begin to notice is that you don't have to be in a state of completely quieted mind in order to receive an impulse that's really a good idea. It's like when you drive, often, you don't realize it, but often when you drive, you are in a sort of meditative state because the road's sort of doing that to you, and the fact that you can't really be productive, leave your devices aside in any real way, and so your mind is sort of in that loose place of receiving. And often you receive an impulse to change lanes or to speed up or to slow down or to take an exit, and that is absolutely a thought that is being generated and offered to you by your inner being, and you are the receiver of that thought. And so if we were standing in your physical shoes, we'd meditate every day. And we would orient ourselves to the subtleties of that inner mind, that inner being, until it's so not subtle that you're actually receiving movement, so not subtle that you're actually knowing unequivocally that that's the way you want to go. Sometimes your mind is just really active on things, and you just have to start over again and start over again and start over again. What was that I was listening for? Oh yeah, there it is. And then all of a sudden your mind's wandering. What was that I was listening for? Oh yeah, there it is. And then all of a sudden your mind's wandering. Oh, what was that thing I was listening for? In other words, just stay after it, because it doesn't have to happen much before you make the connection between you've quieted your mind and you did get a piece of that. Your mind will quiet, and your inner being will help you too. Your inner being's right there with you. Your inner being is helping you in this vibrational adjustment. You've just got to allow it. We want you to know that when you are able to quiet your mind, you have access to your inner mind. And when you have access to your inner mind, you have access to the pathways to everything that you want.
Virtual reality is the place where you can be anywhere, anytime. You can go there in your mind. Images of fantasy take you where you want to be. You can go there anytime to feel good, to calm your mind. Step right in, for this is how you can begin to allow. Step right in, for this is how to let it in. Do it now. Yes, let it in and do it now. And take a little time to travel in your mind. Anything you want to see or do or have or be. Get in, feel good, get out. Get in, feel good, get out. That's what it's all about. Get in, feel good, get out. Take a little time to travel in your mind. Anything you want to see or do or have or be. Yes, anything you want to see or do or have or be. Images of fantasy take you where you want to be. Imagination sets you free in virtual reality.
The best ideas will come from this vibrational reality where your inner being knows every piece of everything that you've ever asked for and what sequence and combination of them will please you the most right now. And the reason that there is a right now factor is because there is a resistance factor within you that your inner being understands. So your inner being knows how much to offer to you right now that is most likely to be received by you. Until it won't be very long before you'll be knowing your own power. You'll be feeling your own vitality. You'll begin feeling frisky even with no reason to really feel frisky. You'll feel like celebrating even though the manifestation hasn't come, because you can feel you're on the way, that excited anticipation of something unfolding. In meditation, you are aware of a different vibrational frequency, and in your awareness of it, you're actually tuning to it. While you slumber, that tuning process isn't happening. So that's why we like to say meditation is a progressive unfolding. Each day that you quiet your mind, the next day it will be easier to do so. Every time you do it, it gets easier and easier and easier and easier and easier and easier and easier, until you can stand as Esther does and just focus on something for a moment, and before you know it, your vibration is right in that high-flying place. We've been encouraging meditation in a rather strong way in the last several seminars, because the discussion of the unfolding of our conversation about being a deliberate creator has reached this place. We've been saying to you for a long time, you create your own reality. Law of attraction is the reason that that is so. You came to deliberately create, even though you're creating whether you're doing it purposefully or not. But it's no fun to create by default. It's no fun to offer a vibration without being intentional about it, and then just live the results of having offered a vibration that you're not intentional about. It's much more satisfying to do it on purpose. So the creative process is, step one is you ask, and life causes you to do that. You've heard this so many times from us. Step two is source answers. Well, that's what we were just saying to you. When you ask, this vibrational reality exists, and your inner being is there knowing what you're asking for and sending you the signal to get you to it. So when you ask, it is immediately given. But step three is you've got to be in the receiving mode, because it doesn't matter, and you know what it's like. Somebody asks you a question, and while you're giving them an answer, you can see them tuning out. They're not even hearing it. And so you've got to be in the receiving mode. So step one, you ask. Step two, source answers. Step three, you get better and better and better and better and better at being in the receiving mode. And once you're really good at it, that's when we call you step four. That's just really good at step three. Step four is being really good at tuning into the frequency of that broader perspective. And when you're tuned into that, then you get to witness the results of that tuning. Then you begin to notice that things that you've been thinking about are showing up. You can barely ponder about something that is interesting to you, or something that you would like a solution to, before the answer is right in front of you, because your inner being knows what your path of least resistance is to bring that to you. And if you have deliberately meditated, if you have deliberately quieted your mind, if you are consciously aware that you have focused this desire into being, then when the subtleties begin to flow, you'll be on the beam of them. And that is so satisfying. It won't feel like an accident. It won't feel like a freak of nature. It won't feel like luck. You want to call it a coincidence, and we want to give you an understanding of what that word is. It is a coincidence. It's cooperative incidences happening together. In other words, it's law of attraction bringing it together. But it's not a coincidence in the way that humans mean it, like it's luck or freaky. It's coincidence in that you have managed to bring yourself into a focused position of realizing something. And the better you get at that, not only is the more satisfying it is, it just becomes really, really fun to see all of the clues and information that the universe is giving to you. But it's satisfying because it surprises and delights you. And the more you meditate, because you can, and the less you make excuses that you can't when you can, then the more you tune to the subtleties of your inner being. And the more you tune to the subtleties, the more you will receive the benefit. And the more you turn to the subtleties, the less subtle the subtleties will feel, until you will have clear messages about things that matter to you, to the point that you can stream your inner being live.
Inner being, inner being, I know you're in there. through all that I do to love me and to care. Inner being, inner being, how can I allow source energy to flow through me? I want